In case you ever wondered what my mornings look like when I go into the office, this is my breakfast. We got an iced matcha latte, a cold drink, and like snacks. But it's like 32 degrees outside at 10 a.m. so I have only revamped this room like about pretty much a week before I'm filming this, so 1 week ago, and someone has bought the white shelves. So I will now have to take everything off of them and then dismember them, deassemble them, so that they're ready for pickup for tomorrow morning. And while we're doing that, we're gonna try a new gadget because I am slowly upgrading all of my tech. So a few weeks ago I finally got a tripod, and now I finally got myself a pair of microphones. So we're gonna upgrade our sound in a minute. There we go. So I got myself mics. Okay, so I'm now wearing a microphone. I hope the sound is a lot better than it was before. And I think we're just gonna get started. I'm just gonna get all of the books off the shelves and the decorative items that I have. And then I'll dismantle the bookshelves. And then I think what we're gonna do, until I will go and get the new ones, we're just gonna stack them on the floor, which that could become a problem because our floor is a tiny bit slanted. But we'll try our best. Oh my god, where do I start even? Alright. I think I'll start with clearing the top. So this is editing Anna, and I noticed I didn't turn off the noise cancellation from the mic, so we're sticking with the mic from the camera for now. I have a singing alphabet that a friend of mine gifted me. Yes, so that's my singing alphabet, and I guess she will rest in the bucket for now. Oh gosh, it's dusty up there. This is also the cutest thing ever. I have this thing where you might think I'm crazy now, but I count how many dogs I see in a day, and I do that every day. So my boss actually on one of our work trips, he got me this thing, which is a clicker counter, so that I don't have to keep count in my head, but I can just click once for every dog I see. And you can reset it by just, yeah, so that's like the cutest item I own. Okay, so we got the top cleared off. Now let's go for the decorative items. This is the book nook, and it lights up. It's like the cutest thing ever. This one's also very beloved by me. I made this myself in school. And, you know, a lesbian household needs a naked woman somewhere. This little gremlin here gave us the biggest scare today because the past few days she has been drinking so much water that we actually got scared that maybe something's up with her health. So we called our vet and they said to come in immediately, and she got blood drawn today and like has a little shaved spot on her paw and really wasn't happy about it. And you know what? She probably might not even be sick. She's probably fully healthy, and the whole water drinking thing, because she doesn't drink from a fountain or from a bowl, she has to drink from like a running tap. So it was probably just a ritual of getting us as her humans to turn on the tap. And checking that cost us over 200 euros. But obviously, I would always rather spend 200 euros for nothing than have her actually be sick. By the way, anyone watching this, do you know how to read tarot cards? Because I got myself a very beautiful deck of tarot cards like years ago, but I never learned to like lay them and read them. Let's try at least to keep my organization system, which is just, you know, mostly vibes. But anyways, these are like all of my witchy books that I'm taking down right now. And then we go into my Shadowhunters collection, which the books look so pristine because I haven't read those. I have read the entire Shadowhunters series, but I read them when I was younger and in books from the library. But I wanted to get my own. But my own copies I have not read yet. Coming from there, I'll just go into a lot of fantasy, a few Neil Gaimans. Then we have all of my Game of Thrones books, more fantasy. Then we go more into like young adult fantasy, and then a lot of romance and random philosophy books. This just smoothly slides out in one block. I love that. By the way, guys, I have not forgotten that I promised you to read every Game of Thrones book and vlog it. I'm kind of stuck on the second, because it's, I don't know, it really put me in a reading slump. And then I decided to abandon it, because it's such a monstrous task. And now I'm kind of back on everything else but Game of Thrones. So this shelf is one that I actually really love. It got all of my YA books that really anchored down my love for reading, because I did start reading lots of books in elementary school, but like middle school was when they really got me hooked, and when I knew that like my life would always need books. And then we just go into romance, mostly sapphic, because, you know, I'm gay. And last but not least, my little Sally Rooney collection. The last shelf on the bottom here was mostly German philosophy, or like philosophy from all over the world but in German language, and a few coffee table books. So now it's time to take down the first shelf. Alright, the first stack is done. This is what it looks like. It's not good, but it's not horrendous. We can manage for a week or two until the new bookshelves come. For this next shelf, the first shelf, the top shelf, is not mine. Like, all of these are not my books. These are my partner's books. So I'm not going to go like in depth about them. So now we're back to my books. And this shelf is most of my high fantasy. So we got the Jasmine Throne, and we got my Samantha Shannon books, which, oh my god, I love The Priory and A Day of Fall Night. These are amazing. I also have Jessalyn Lynn's For Whom the Bells Toll. If you haven't heard of this yet, you might want to pick it up. And then this next shelf is kind of a weird mix of a few last fantasy books, and then we go into basically modern lit fic, and I kind of have everything here. I have Bear Town by Frederick Backman here, I have Underground Railroad here, I have The Secret History by Donna Tartt on here. I also got Bonnie here, or The Bell Jar, which I guess would be considered a classic by now. So this is kind of just a mix of everything. Okay, we're walking the shelf down further. This is all of my English classics and also my Russian literature. So we have a lot of Shakespeare in the front, and we have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, And there's a Russian one already, it's Anna Karenina, which I really enjoyed Anna Karenina. We have Sherlock Holmes, we have Virginia Woolf, we have Louisa May Alcott, Oscar Wilde, Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, and then I have quite a bit by Charles Dickens and Tolstoy again and Dostoevsky. I also have Bram Stoker's Dracula, but that like nearly bored me to death. Alright, and on these last two shelves of this bookshelf, we have all of my kids' literature basically, and all of my folklore and fairy tales. And then over here, that's my poetry collection, so this is all I own when it comes to poetry. I need to grow that section for sure. And then the bottom shelf is entirely dedicated to Harry Potter. I don't want to give the Harry Potter series too much of a platform anymore, because I very much do not stand for what J.K. Rowling is doing with her profits from the series, which is really sad because this is one of the series that really kindled my love for reading when I was a child, but the author kind of ruined it. Alright guys, the second shelf is gone, everything's stacked on the wall. This is the last one guys, so end of the bookshelf tour basically. Once again, top shelf, not my books, my partner's books. And then we're coming into my dystopian and fantasy shelf. We got the Divergent books, we got Aragon, we got the Hunger Games books, and the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I still need to get Sunrise on the Reaping. Then we have Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, and I can probably say I have read all of these books. And then we go into my non-fiction. So we have a lot about feminism here, and we have some stuff about racism and racial profiling. Everything I Know About Love by Dellie Alderton. We have The Body Keeps the Score. I have some books on like biographies kind of. For example, we have I'm Glad My Mom Died, which that one was amazing. I think it was the first biography that I truly enjoyed. We have Generation Z and all that kind of stuff. And then we move further down into Greek mythology. We start with non-fiction, and then we move into fiction and retellings, and then it's my horror and thriller books, and then we move into like a little bit of classics because the big classic shelf was here, so they were like in a row. And then on the bottom we have a lot of German literature, German classics, and some World War II literature, and then even more German classics. So that's the last one. We're gonna empty that out as well. Okay, so we're done. That's crazy. And also the room looks kind of weird. But to be honest, I don't even hate it. Oh god, the lighting. To be honest, I don't even hate it. It has kind of a cool look. It leaves the wall very empty. If it wasn't so darn impractical and like impossible to find absolutely any book, I would even consider like keeping it like this. Like that kind of looks very cool. So tomorrow the white shelves are being picked up, and then let's see when I can get the brown ones in. Can we talk about these cute bed sheets for a second? But then again, also really recommend to everyone to do your bed in the morning. I used to never do it, and I have finally figured out at the wise age of 25 that it just sets me up for a good day, and I already have a tiny feeling of accomplishment in the morning. So do your beds, guys. I am coming to you with great news that I have found a book that I think has finally put away my 2026 reading slump that has been stretching forever, because I have read about 13 books this year. Wait, let me check my trusty fable. So yeah, I have read 14 books this year, of which the majority lay in January. And I read 2 books in February, 1 in April, 2 in June, and then 3 in July. So the summer has already brought back some books to me. But yeah, as you can tell, the start of the year, kind of the middle of the year, has not been too good of a reading time for me. But I have picked this beauty up. I have finally started reading Ninth House, which has been sitting on my shelves, I think pretty much since it came out. And I don't know why I put this off for so long. I will give you some of my fable posts here, because reading this has been a journey so far. I am absolutely in love. I adore this. I am hating myself for not picking this up earlier, but also I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I have the second book here, because I got this yesterday. I am really speeding through this. I have like 100 pages left and it's the weekend now. So I did get myself Hellbent, which is the second part in the series. And the third and final book in this trilogy, sorry, I've learned now, it's not trilogy, it's trilogy. It's registered in my brain. So the third part in the trilogy is coming out in September, which is just a month away. So I think I have picked the absolute perfect timing to pick these up and get reading. So Ninth House, if you haven't heard of this, is by Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo has also written the Shadow and Bone series, and what I think was her bigger hit so far was the Six of Crows duology, and then we had 2 more books with King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. So this entire universe, I have read all of these books, but they are a lot more heavy fantasy leaning, while this is more of a dark urban fantasy. And once again, I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into, because I kind of prefer going into books with as little knowledge as possible. And oh my goodness, this has blown me off of my socks. This is set on the Yale campus, and we have a main character with a very tragic backstory who develops to be a bit more of a dark character than you might have imagined from the beginning. In Yale, there's like 9 secret societies. 8 of them are practicing dark magic in like rituals regularly, and the Ninth House is basically the magic police on campus. So they make sure that the 8 houses of magic, that the 8 great houses, that they like stay in the bound of the rules, that they don't endanger anyone. And our main character gets recruited for this 9th house, this Lethe house, because she can see ghosts. She can see grey ones, as they're called in here. And from there we're thrown into quite the adventure, and it's such a page turner. I can barely put it down. It's really, really great. And it has me hooked. To throw around some tropes, this has very much dark academia vibes. And I couldn't wait to already pick up the second book, because I think I might start the second one today or tomorrow, because I really don't have a lot of pages left in the first. So yeah, that was a reading update from my side, and I'm just staring at my books on the floor, which is kind of crazy. Have you guys read Ninth House and even Hellbent already? Because I need someone to talk to about this. We took a day trip to the Netherlands, and we went to a cat cafe, and they had this crazy cute orange and white little boy, and I just fell in love with him and his little brother. Of course, we also had some really good food, and on our way back home we stumbled upon this little free library, and I just was amazed by how much effort was put into this and how nice it was looking, with the flowers in the back, gorgeous. So they obviously took this old telephone booth. I had to hop inside and check out their storage, and I did take a book, and what I took was a book about a witch hunt in the 16th century in Germany, which that's just right up my alley. Guys, I have finally finished Ninth House. I think I've been reading this for about 3 weeks now, which is quite a long time actually for a 500-page book, 450 even. And this has been a 5-star book, a 6-star book, one as good as I haven't read in a very long time, and I enjoyed this very, very deeply. I like that the main character turns out to be darker and darker and darker than you would expect from the beginning. I was very pleased with Ninth House, and I am so glad I did decide to pick up Hellbent a few days ago already, so that I would have the second one waiting for me at home whenever I finished the first. And this ended in the best way possible. It had so many plot twists that I did not see coming, which I always enjoy. I wouldn't want to say that I see every plot twist coming ever, but I do tend to kind of know when or what will happen probably in most fantasy books, because we just follow a lot of tropes, and if you've read a certain amount of books, you just kind of know the vibe. But here, I totally didn't expect where this was going. Definitely a unique concept that I have not read in this kind of way so far, so I really enjoyed this. And I can't wait to already start the second book today. Yeah, so I'll give you an update in the next vlog. And I think I'm gonna end the vlog here. And as always, I would love for you to subscribe, give the video a like, and leave me a comment. Tell me what you're reading right now. Do you have any thoughts about whatever happened this week on screen here? Yeah, hope to see you soon.